Welcome back to MP3. $3, 3 games, 3 reviews, 1 epic episode.
What's going on, everyone? This is Sarah Flash, and welcome to the 2012 Indy 3. We've got a great lineup of games today, but let's take a quick look at the scoring system for this particular episode. Each game will get points for each of the attributes in the sidelines: gameplay, challenge, control, visuals, sound, and ingenuity. If an attribute is bad, it gets no points. A good rating gets 1 point, and a great rating gets 2. Any one game can get a maximum of 24 points between Dayruna and I. A rating of 0 to 7 is to be avoided. 8 to 15 is passable, 16 to 21 recommended, 22 to 23 highly recommended, and of course, 24 is perfect. Now then, let's get Indy 3 underway. Crossfire is Radium Games' take on the classic Space Invaders formula with a twist. You can warp your ship to the top or bottom of the screen at will to take out your opposition, collect power-ups, or dodge enemy fire. The enemy waves are fast and furious, and each of the varied enemy types has different strengths, weaknesses, and fire patterns. While there is a follow-up, Crossfire 2, which adds more to this already solid package, it's $5 instead of only $1, so it didn't make the cut for this particular episode. Crossfire has a great scoring system with emphasis on how fast you can take out enemy waves. To help you along the way, there are a number of power-ups that increase your firepower and shot count, not to mention time warps and a super shot that can be refilled with purple pickups. Add to that a sweet, clean graphical presentation and decent sound, and this is $1 you won't regret spending.
I enjoyed Crossfire for a few different reasons. The control was responsive, the gameplay wasn't frustrating while maintaining a decent level of challenge, and the visual design, while minimalistic, was clean and diverse. The cooperative play works really well, especially for players with a lower skill level, since the other player can save a dead player by clearing the round they're in.
Star Crisis was a bit of a pleasant surprise. It had the retro look and feel that really hit home, a clean presentation with a really catchy soundtrack, and a fairly interesting control scheme. While your left and right controls are as you might expect, your up and down controls are based on thrusters and gravity. This makes for an interesting playstyle that requires the player to think ahead to avoid objects and shots. Players also have access to triple shots and spread shots, which are lost upon collision with an enemy or shot. Thankfully, there are shields and life recovery throughout the game. But the game itself lacks any sort of interesting score system, and the game is way too easy and short on normal. There is, however, an endless mode, which has the game last as long as the player can, and a hard mode, which ups the antes with way more enemies and obstacles. Another small complaint is that the sound effects aren't quite on par with the soundtrack, but because the BGM is so good, well, it can be excused, especially for just $1.
This game is so cute. Star Crisis is very user-friendly to the point of being pretty easy, but the higher difficulties are quite a bit more challenging. The visuals were quite nostalgic and the sound was not only very retro, but super catchy. It would have been nice to have more weapon types though and more variation in the stages. And the core game is far too short, but overall, Star Crisis is a nice little gem for just $1.
Oh man, leave it to Mommy's Best Games to deliver the goods for $1. Explosion Aid is a great little running gunner from the man behind Weapon of Choice, Shoot One Up, Serious Sam Double D, Game Type, and the highly anticipated Grapple Buggy. Coming soon. Well, everyone hopes. The story picks up with Atticus, a washed-up first lieutenant skipping out on latrine duty when he comes across a prototype mech. Claiming that he was only making sure it was in good working order, he enters the sewers only to find out there's much more down there than just a few snake bats. Using your grenades, which can be switched from sticky to bouncy depending how long you hold the trigger, you can blast your way through the walls in order to reach gold for a higher score and make your way to the room's exit. Along the way, you'll need to lay waste to your opposition with your cannons or bombs, with the option to crush smaller enemies underfoot. Collect enough gold and you can unleash a torrent of grenades known as the Meganade Cascade. You can also activate a shield for both defense or a huge jump boost. The control is pretty smooth, and it makes for a great gameplay experience. The signature style of Mommy's Best Games is all here, complete with awesome painted sprites, crazy sound effects, in-game achievements, and a great score system with boosts for speedy level clears and enemy annihilation.
I was certain at first that I wasn't going to like this game, but it really grew on me with its maze-like run-and-gun action. Explosion Aid was quite a different game for me. While it wasn't particularly challenging, it was easy to grasp and fun to play. I also liked the sprite work and character portraits, not to mention the hilarious dialogue. The sound was fitting and was well produced. By the end of our run, Explosion Aid ended up being my favorite of the three.